The bullet shattered the warehouse window before Maya heard the gunshot. Glass rained down like deadly confetti as she threw herself behind a steel container, her heart hammering against her ribs. Across the blood-stained concrete floor, Jin-Woo returned fire with surgical precision, his expensive suit jacket torn and soaked with someone else's blood. "Maya!" he shouted, his voice cutting to the chaos of automatic weapons and screaming men. "When I say run, you run." She locked eyes with him across the distance, her hand trembling as she gripped the gun her father had forced into her palm years ago. Behind Jin-Woo, she could see both their fathers, Chief Okafor and Chairman Park, standing side by side for first time, united only in their desire to see their children dead. "Kill him, Maya." Her father's voice boomed across the warehouse, thick with his Nigerian accent and cold fury. "Kill him, or I will kill you both." Chairman Park's voice was ice compared to her father's fire. "You have 10 seconds to choose your family, Jin-Woo. 10 seconds to prove you are my son." Maya felt tears streaming down her face, mixing with the dust and cordite in the air. Jin-Woo moved toward her, dodging bullets, his dark eyes never leaving hers. When he reached her, he didn't hesitate. He pulled her close, his lips finding hers in a kiss that tasted like blood and goodbye. "I already chose," he whispered against her mouth. "I chose you. 6 months ago, I chose you." The sound of guns cocking echoed through the warehouse. Maya closed her eyes. 6 months earlier, Lagos had been suffocating. The humidity clung to Maya's black dress as she stood at her sister's graveside, watching the mahogany casket being lowered into red Nigerian earth. Chioma had been 25, beautiful, alive just 3 days ago. Now she was gone, and Maya couldn't stop shaking. "Stop crying." Her father hissed in her ear, his massive hand gripping her shoulder hard enough to bruise. Chief Okafor was a mountain of a man, his traditional agbada flowing around him like royal robes. To everyone else, he was a respected businessman. Maya knew better. She knew about the blood money, the drug routes, the bodies that disappeared into the Niger Delta. "She was my sister," Maya whispered, her voice breaking. "She was weak." Her father's words were brutal, final. She tried to run from this family. She paid the price. Maya's blood went cold. Everyone said Chioma had been killed by a rival gang, caught in crossfire at a nightclub. But the way her father said it, the satisfaction in his voice, made Maya's stomach turn. "Come, we have business to discuss." He dragged her away from the grave, away from the mourners in their colorful traditional dress, into the family compound. The mansion was all white marble and gold fixtures, bought with blood and suffering. Her father's office smelled like expensive cigars and old leather. "Sit," he commanded. Maya sat, her hands folded in her lap, her mind still at the graveside with Chioma. "You're 23 years old," her father began, pouring himself whiskey from a crystal decanter. "University educated. Beautiful. You speak 4 languages. You're perfect." "Perfect for what?" Maya asked, though dread was already pooling in her stomach. "Marriage." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "To the Park family. In Seoul." The words didn't make sense at first. Maya stared at him, waiting for the punchline. "What?" "The Park family controls all of East Asia. Smuggling routes, distribution networks, political connections. An alliance with them means we control half the world." He took a long sip of his drink. "Your marriage seals a $500 million deal." Maya shot to her feet. "You're selling me? Like I'm cattle? I'm making you a queen." Her father slammed his glass down, whiskey sloshing onto his desk. "The Park family is powerful, wealthy. Their son, Jin-Woo, is heir to an empire. You'll live in luxury." "I don't want luxury. I want my life." Maya's voice cracked. "I want to paint, to travel, to choose my own husband." Her father moved faster than she expected for a man his size. His hand cracked across her face, sending her stumbling backward. "You want? You want." He grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Your wants died with your sister. You will marry Park Jin-Woo in 2 weeks. You will smile. You will obey. Or you will join Chioma in the ground." The threat hung in the air like poison. Maya tasted blood in her mouth where her teeth had cut her lip. "Do you understand me?" her father demanded. "Yes." Maya whispered. I understand. Good. Your flight to Seoul leaves tomorrow. You'll meet your husband-to-be in 3 days. Don't embarrass me. He released her and returned to his whiskey, as if he hadn't just destroyed her life. Maya walked out of the office on shaking legs, her face throbbing, her future in ashes. That night, she locked herself in her bedroom and called her best friend Adana. He did what? Adana's voice exploded through the phone. Arranged marriage. To some Korean Mafia Heir. I leave tomorrow. Maya stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her cheek was already swelling, turning purple. I can't run. Adana. If I run, he'll find me. He'll kill me like he killed Chioma. There was silence on the other end. Then, quietly, what do you mean, like he killed Chioma? Maya told her everything. The way her father had spoken at the grave. The threat. The cold satisfaction in his eyes. When she finished, both of them were crying. Maya, you have to tell someone. The police? Interposed someone. He owns the police. He owns everyone. Maya wiped her eyes, but fresh tears kept coming. I'm trapped, Adana. And in 2 weeks, I'll be Mrs. Park Jin-woo, married to a stranger in a foreign country, and there's nothing I can do about it. Seoul was nothing like Lagos. When Maya stepped off the plane, the cold October air hit her like a slap. Everything was steel and glass and neon, a forest of skyscrapers stabbing into a gray sky. Her father's men had accompanied her, silent and watchful, making sure she didn't run. They took her to the Shilla Hotel, one of the most expensive in the city. Her room was all minimalist luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River. It felt like a beautiful cage. 3 days passed in a blur of jet lag and terror. Then her father arrived, flying in for the meeting. He wore a custom suit instead of his traditional clothes, trying to look legitimate. It didn't work. Violence clung to him like cologne. Tonight, you meet your husband, he announced, straightening his tie in her hotel mirror. The Park family has reserved a private dining room at their hotel restaurant. You will be respectful. You will be grateful. You will not embarrass me. Yes, father, Maya said automatically. She'd learned years ago that arguing only made things worse. She dressed carefully, choosing a simple black dress that covered her bruises, her natural hair styled in elegant twists. She looked like a funeral guest. It felt appropriate. The restaurant was all dark wood and soft lighting, traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern luxury. Chief Okafor led her through the main dining room to a private section in the back. Maya's heels clicked on marble floors. Her heart hammered so loud she was sure everyone could hear it. Chairman Park was waiting in a private room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking nighttime Seoul. He was smaller than her father, but somehow more frightening. Everything about him was precise, controlled, dangerous. His suit probably cost more than a car. His eyes were black and cold as winter. Chief Okafor, he said in perfect English, bowing slightly. Welcome to Seoul, Chairman Park. Her father returned the bow. Thank you for your hospitality. And this must be Maya. Chairman Park's gaze slid over her, like she was livestock being appraised. Beautiful. My son should be pleased. Should be. Not will be. Maya forced herself to smile. Where's your son? Her father asked. Working. He'll join us shortly. Chairman Park gestured to the table. Please sit. We have much to discuss. They sat. Servers appeared with food Maya couldn't name. Expensive wines, delicate dishes on hand-painted plates. The two fathers talked business, while Maya pushed food around her plate, her appetite gone. Then the door opened. Park Jin-woo walked in like he owned the world. Maybe he did. He was tall for a Korean man, lean and elegant in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than everything Maya owned. His hair was styled back perfectly, his face all sharp angles and cold beauty. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. He also looked utterly bored. Father, he said in Korean, bowing to Chairman Park. Then, in English with barely a glance at Maya's father, Chief Okafor. Jin-woo, Chairman Park said sharply. You're late. Meeting ran long. Jin-woo finally looked at Maya. His eyes were dark, unreadable. He studied her for exactly 3 seconds, then looked away. Is this her? Maya felt something hot an angry flare in her chest. Is this her? Like she was a package being delivered. This is Maya Okafor, her father said, his voice tight with warning. Your future wife. Jin-woo pulled out his phone, scrolling through messages. Right. The arranged marriage. He didn't look up. When's the wedding? 2 weeks, Chairman Park said. Everything is prepared. The ceremony will be traditional Korean, but we'll incorporate some Nigerian elements to honor the alliance. Fine. Jin-woo was still looking at his phone. Anything else? Maya's hands clenched in her lap. This man, this arrogant, dismissive man, was going to be her husband. He couldn't even pretend to care. Perhaps, Chairman Park said icily, you could put your phone away and speak to your fiancé. Jin-woo finally pocketed his phone. He looked at Maya again, and this time his gaze lingered. She met his eyes, refusing to look away, refusing to be cowed. For a moment, something flickered in his expression. Surprise, maybe, or interest. Then it was gone, replaced by cold indifference. Hello, Maya Okafor, he said. I'm Park Jin-woo. In 2 weeks, you'll be my wife. We'll live together, appear together at family functions, and maintain the appearance of a happy marriage. Beyond that, don't expect anything from me. The words hit like physical blows. Maya's father shifted beside her, a warning. She was supposed to smile, to be grateful, to play her part. But something in her snapped. Don't expect anything from you? She repeated, her voice cold. That won't be difficult. You're exactly what I expected. A spoiled, arrogant pretty boy playing at being a gangster in his expensive suit. The room went silent. Chairman Park's face darkened. Her father's hand clamped on a thigh under the table, fingers digging in painfully. But Jin-woo's expression changed. His eyebrows rose slightly, and for the first time since he'd entered, he really looked at her, saw her. Interesting, he said softly. Then to his father, I like her better than the last one you tried to arrange. There will be no last one, Chairman Park said coldly. This alliance is final. The contracts are signed. The wedding will proceed. Jin-woo shrugged. Fine. Are we done here? I have work. Sit, his father commanded. You will finish this dinner. You will be civil. Jin-woo sat, but his jaw was tight. Maya could see the tension between father and son, the barely controlled hostility. It was familiar. It looked like every dinner she'd ever had with her own father. The rest of the meal was torture. The fathers discussed territory, distribution routes, money laundering schemes. Jin-woo remained silent, occasionally checking his watch. Maya said nothing, her father's grip on her thigh a constant reminder to behave. Finally, it was over. They stood to leave. Jin-woo bowed politely to her father, then turned to Maya. I'll send a car for you tomorrow, he said. You should see where you'll be living. Can't wait, Maya replied, her voice dripping with sarcasm. His lips twitched. Almost a smile. Wear comfortable shoes. The penthouse is big. You'll get lost. Then he was gone, leaving behind only the scent of expensive cologne and the memory of those cold, dark eyes. In the car back to the hotel, her father grabbed her arm hard enough to bruise. You will never speak to him that way again, he hissed. Do you understand? Never. He insulted me first. Maya shot back. He is your husband. You will respect him, obey him, and give him sons to continue both our family's legacies. Her father's eyes were wild, dangerous. Or, I will send you back to Lagos in a coffin next to your sister. Maya pulled her arm free, rubbing the red marks his fingers had left. I understand. Good. He leaned back, composing himself. The wedding is in 2 weeks. After that, you're his problem. Don't make me regret choosing you instead of your cousin. The next morning, a black Mercedes arrived at Maya's hotel. The driver was Korean, silent, and professional. He took her through Seoul's crowded streets, through neighborhoods that got progressively more expensive, until they arrived at a tower of glass and steel in Gangnam. The penthouse took up the entire top floor. Maya stepped off the private elevator into a space that looked like it belonged in an architecture magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked all of Seoul, walls of white and gray, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her education. It was beautiful. It was cold. It felt like a mausoleum. Jean Woo was standing by the windows, still in a suit, a phone pressed his ear. He was speaking rapid Korean, his tone sharp. When he saw her, he held up one finger. Wait. Maya waited, studying the space. There was no color anywhere. No art. No photographs. No sign that a human being actually lived here. It was perfect and empty, just like the man who owned it. Sorry, Jean Woo said, pocketing his phone. He didn't sound sorry. Business. Is that all you do? Maya asked. Work. Yes. He gestured around the space. This is it. 6,200 square feet. 3 bedrooms for bathrooms, office, gym, kitchen you'll probably never use because I have a chef. Which bedroom is mine? Maya asked. Jean Woo looked at her, something unreadable in his expression. The master bedroom has 2 walk-in closets. I use one. You'll use the other. There's a king-size bed. We're sharing a room? Maya's voice rose despite herself. We're married, or will be. People will expect it. He walked toward the hallway. But don't worry. The bed is big enough that we never have to touch. He said it so casually, like he was discussing the weather. Maya followed him down the hall, her heels clicking on marble floors. The master bedroom was enormous, all white and gray like the rest of the penthouse. The bed could sleep 4 people comfortably. Your closet, Jean Woo said, opening a door to reveal a walk-in space bigger than her bedroom back in Lagos. My assistant will coordinate with you about moving your things. The wedding is at the Shilla in 2 weeks. Traditional Korean ceremony. Your father insisted on some Nigerian elements, so there will be traditional dress and music at the reception. How romantic, Maya said bitterly. Jean Woo turned to look at her. Really look at her. Let's be clear about something, Maya Okafor. I didn't choose this. You didn't choose this. Our fathers made a business deal, and we're part of the transaction. I don't expect love. I don't expect friendship. I expect you to play your part in public, and in private, we stay out of each other's way. That's it. Maya asked, That's our marriage? That's our arrangement. He checked his watch. I have a meeting. The driver will take you back to your hotel. My assistant will be in touch about wedding details and moving your things. He walked toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I am sorry. About your sister. Maya froze. What do you know about my sister? I know she died 3 weeks ago. I know your father moved quickly to arrange this marriage. I know you're here because you have no choice. His voice was softer now, almost human. I know what it's like to be trapped by family. Then he was gone, leaving Maya alone in the cold, perfect penthouse that would be her prison. The wedding was exactly as warm and romantic as Maya expected, which is to say, not at all. The Shilla Hotel's grand ballroom had been transformed into something that looked like a collision between Korean tradition and Nigerian culture. Red and gold Korean decorations mixed with green and white Nigerian colors. Traditional Korean drums competed with Nigerian talking drums. Maya wore a white wedding dress for the ceremony, then changed into a traditional Korean hanbok, and later a Nigerian iro and buba. Jean Woo remained in his tuxedo throughout, his face a mask of polite indifference. They went through the motions, bowing to parents, exchanging rings, performing the traditional Pai-beak ceremony where Maya served tea to Jean Woo's relatives. Through it all, Jean Woo barely looked at her. When they had to kiss at the end of the ceremony, it was quick, perfunctory, cold, like kissing a statue. The reception was worse. Hundreds of guests, most of whom Maya had never met. Korean business associates and politicians mixing awkwardly with Nigerian relatives, and her father's criminal associates. Everyone smiled and pretended this was a love match. Everyone knew it wasn't. Maya's father pulled her aside during the reception, his breath heavy with expensive champagne. You're a park now, he said. That means you represent both families. Don't forget where your loyalty lies. With my husband? Maya asked innocently. With me? He squeezed her arm. Always with me. You're my eyes and ears and soul now. You'll report everything Jean Woo does, everyone he meets, every business deal. Maya's blood went cold. You wanted to spy on him? I want you to remember you're my daughter first. He released her, smiling broadly as Chairman Park approached. Ah, Chairman Park. Beautiful ceremony, wasn't it? Maya didn't hear Chairman Park's response. She was watching Jin-woo across the ballroom, surrounded by men in expensive suits, his face cold and professional. Her husband, her warden, and now her target. That night, they returned to the penthouse in silence. The car ride felt like a funeral procession. When they entered the apartment, Jin-woo immediately loosened his tie. "I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight," he announced. "You can have the master bedroom." "Why?" Maya asked. He looked at her like she was stupid. "Because I'm exhausted, and I don't want to deal with awkward wedding night expectations." "I wasn't expecting anything," Maya said, her voice sharp. "Good." He grabbed his phone from the counter. "There's food in the kitchen if you're hungry. I'll be working late." He disappeared into his office. Maya stood alone in a massive living room, still in her wedding dress, surrounded by unpacked boxes of her belongings that had been delivered earlier. This was her life now. This cold, empty space with a cold, empty man. She changed into comfortable clothes and spent the night unpacking, filling the empty closet with her things. At 3 a.m, she heard music. Piano music, soft and melancholic, drifting from somewhere in the penthouse. Maya followed the sound to a room she hadn't noticed before, a door slightly ajar. She pushed it open quietly. Jin-woo sat at a grand piano, still in his dress shirt and pants, his jacket discarded on a chair. His eyes were closed, his fingers moving over the keys with practiced grace. The music was beautiful and heartbreaking, full of longing and loss. She must have made a sound because Jin-woo's eyes snapped open. His hands stopped moving. For a moment, they just stared at each other. "I didn't know you played," Maya said softly. "There's a lot you don't know about me." He closed the piano lid. "You should be sleeping." "So should you." "I don't sleep well." He stood, reaching for his jacket. "Sorry if I woke you." "You didn't." Maya stepped into the room. "That was beautiful." "What was it?" "Chopin. Nocturne in C-sharp minor." He paused. "My mother taught me before she died." The admission hung in the air between them. It was the first personal thing Jin-woo had told her. "How did she die?" Maya asked carefully. Jin-woo's face closed off, violently, in front of me, when I was 12. He moved toward the door. "Good night, Maya." "Jin-woo, wait." He stopped but didn't turn around. "I'm sorry," Maya said. "About your mother. I know what it's like to lose someone you love." "Do you?" He looked back at her, and for just a moment, the mask slipped. She saw pain there, old and deep. "Good night." This time, she let him go. The first few weeks of marriage were an exercise in polite avoidance. Jin-woo left early every morning, returned late every night. They ate dinner together occasionally, sitting at opposite ends of the long dining table, making stilted conversation about nothing important. Maya explored Seoul during the day, wandering through markets and museums, trying to make this foreign city feel like home. It didn't work. She video called Adana almost daily. "Girl, you're living in a palace with a gorgeous man and you sound miserable." Adana said one afternoon, her face pixelated on Maya's phone screen. "He's not gorgeous, he's frozen," Maya replied, curled up on the massive couch. "We barely speak. We sleep in the same bed, but we might as well be on different continents." "Have you tried talking to him? Like, really talking?" "About what?" "He works 20 hours a day, Adana. And when he's home, he plays piano in the middle of the night like a sad ghost." "Maybe he's as lonely as you are," Adana suggested. Maya hadn't considered that. Jin-woo seemed so self-sufficient, so cold. But she remembered the look on his face when he talked about his mother, the pain in the music he played when he thought no one was listening. "Maybe," Maya said quietly. 3 weeks into marriage, Maya went to Namdaemun Market alone. Her security detail, 2 of Jin-woo's men, followed at a discreet distance. She was looking at traditional Korean pottery when she felt eyes on her. 3 men, Korean, wearing leather jackets, watching her from across the crowded street. Maya's instincts screamed danger. Her father had trained her to recognize predators. She moved quickly through the crowd, tried to lose them. The security detail was too far back. She ducked into a narrow alley, pulling out her phone to call for help. They were faster. 3 men became 5, surrounding her. One of them smiled. showing gold teeth. Mrs. Park. He said in accented English, "You're far from home." "Who are you?" Maya demanded, her hand sliding into her bag where she kept the small knife her father had given her. "Friends of your father's rivals. They send their regards." He pulled out a knife, longer and more wicked than hers. Nothing personal. Just business. They moved as one. Maya fought, her father's training kicking in. She got the first one in the throat with her knife, the second in the knee, but there were too many. A fist caught her in the ribs, driving the air from her lungs. Another grabbed her hair, slamming her against the alley wall. Stars exploded in her vision. Then gunshots. Sharp, precise. The man holding her dropped, a red flower blooming in his chest. The others scattered or fell. Maya slid down the wall, gasping for air, clutching her ribs. Jinwoo appeared from nowhere, a gun in each hand, his suit jacket torn. Behind him, his security team was cleaning up the scene with brutal efficiency. Jinwoo dropped to his knees in front of Maya, his hands running over her, checking for injuries. "Are you hurt?" His voice was sharp, urgent. "Maya, are you hurt?" "My ribs," she gasped. "I think they're just bruised." His jaw clenched. He pulled her to her feet gently, supporting her weight. "Can you walk?" She nodded. He kept one arm around her waist, guiding her to a black SUV that had appeared at the alley entrance. His men were already dragging bodies into a van, like they'd done this 1,000 times before. In the car, Jinwoo kept his arm around her, his free hand on his phone, barking orders in Korean. Maya's hands were shaking, adrenaline crashing through her system. "How did you know?" she asked. "Your security detail called me when they lost sight of you." He ended his call, his attention fully on her. "Those men were from the J-Dragon gang. They've been trying to move in on our territory for months. They said they were working for my father's rivals." Jinwoo's expression darkened. "This marriage made you a target. Everyone knows taking you means hurting both families." His arm tightened around her. "I should have assigned more security. I should have." "You saved me," Maya interrupted. "Thank you." He looked at her, really looked at her, and something in his face softened. "You're my wife. That means something, even if we didn't choose each other." Back at the penthouse, Jinwoo insisted on calling a private doctor. Maya's ribs were bruised but not broken. The doctor wrapped them, prescribed pain medication, and left. Jinwoo hovered the entire time, his jaw tight, his hands clenched. "I'm fine," Maya said when they were alone. "Really? You killed a man today." Jinwoo poured himself whiskey, his first drink she'd ever seen him take. "Your first?" "No." Maya accepted the glass he offered her. "My father made sure I could defend myself. This wasn't my first knife fight." "How old were you?" Jinwoo asked quietly. 15. A rival son tried to assault me at a party. I put the knife between his ribs. My father was proud. She drank, the whiskey burning. "Your first?" 12. The men who killed my mother. Jinwoo sat beside her on the couch, closer than he'd ever sat before. My father handed me the gun and told me to be a man. They sat in silence. Two people shaped by violence and family, bound together by forces beyond their control. "Why did you come?" Maya asked, personally. "You could have sent your men." Jinwoo set down his glass. "I don't know. When they called and said you were in danger, I just moved. I didn't think." He looked at her. "Maybe because you're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone terrified. Someone weak. Someone who would cry and beg and need constant protection." His lips curved slightly. "Instead, you killed a man with a pocket knife and asked me why I came." "I'm my father's daughter," Maya said bitterly. "No." Jinwoo's voice was firm. "You're more than that. I've seen my father's daughters, raised to be ornaments. You're different." It was the closest thing to a compliment he'd given her. Maya felt something warm unfurl in her chest, dangerous and unwelcome. "Get some rest," Jinwoo said, standing. "I'll have the security detail doubled. This won't happen again." "Jinwoo." She caught his hand. "Thank you. Really." He looked down at their joined hands, then squeezed hers briefly before letting go. "You're welcome." That night, they slept in the same bed for the first time since the wedding. Not touching, but aware of each other in the darkness. Maya felt safer than she had in weeks. The next morning, Maya woke to an empty bed and the smell of burning food. She found Jin-Woo in the kitchen, scowling at a pot of something that might have once been soup. Smoke rose from the stove. "What are you doing?" Maya asked, trying not to laugh. "Making breakfast. Or trying to." He looked embarrassed, almost boyish. "I gave the chef the day off. I thought you might want something homemade after yesterday." Maya's heart did something complicated in her chest. "You're burning it." "I know that." He turned off the stove. "I'm better at killing people than feeding them." This time, Maya did laugh. Jin-Woo stared at her like he'd never heard the sound before. Maybe he hadn't, not from her. "Come on," Maya said, moving to the fridge. "I'll teach you to make pepper soup. It's good for healing." They cooked together, Maya guiding Jin-Woo through the steps, their hands occasionally brushing. He was a terrible cook, but he listened carefully. Following her instructions with the same focus he probably brought to running a criminal empire. The soup turned out decent. They ate at the kitchen island instead of the formal dining table, sitting side by side. "This is good," Jin-Woo admitted. "My mother taught me before she died." Maya stirred her soup. "I was 8. Cancer." "I'm sorry." Jin-Woo's voice was gentle. "That's too young to lose a mother." "So is 12. Maya looked at him. "We're both orphans in a way, aren't we? Even though our fathers are alive." "Worse than orphans," Jin-Woo said. "Orphans are free. We're prisoners of legacy." It was the most honest thing he'd ever said to her. Maya felt the walls between them cracking, just a little. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. Jin-Woo still worked long hours, but he started coming home for dinner. They cooked together sometimes, Maya teaching him Nigerian recipes while he attempted to teach her Korean dishes. He was still terrible at cooking, but he tried. That mattered more than Maya wanted to admit. He still played piano at night, but now the door stayed open. Maya would sit in the hallway, listening, letting the music wash over her. Sometimes Jin-Woo would see her there and play something different, something lighter, almost hopeful. They talked more. Small things at first. Favorite books. Childhood memories that didn't involve violence. Dreams they had before their fathers crushed them. Jin-Woo wanted to be a concert pianist once. Maya wanted to be an artist, showing her work in galleries around the world. "We could still do those things," Maya suggested one night over dinner. Jin-Woo smiled sadly. "No, we couldn't. We're what our fathers made us. What if we unmade ourselves? Then we'd be dead." He said it matter-of-factly. "Our fathers don't allow retirement." Maya knew he was right, but sitting across from him, watching him smile at something she'd said, she couldn't help but imagine a different life. A life where they'd met as regular people, where they'd chosen each other freely. 2 months into marriage, Jin-Woo had a business trip to Busan. It required them to act like a real couple, attending dinners with potential partners, staying at a luxury hotel. Maya's assistant only booked one room. Jin-Woo said the day before they left, "If we request separate rooms, it'll look suspicious." "It's fine," Maya said, more confidently than she felt. "We've shared a bed before. Not in a hotel room. Not when we have to." He paused, looking uncomfortable. "Act like we're in love." "We can manage," Maya said. "It's just acting." The trip to Busan was beautiful. The coastal city was all ocean views and seafood markets, warmer than Seoul. Their hotel suite overlooked the beach, one king-size bed dominating the room. "I can sleep on the couch," Jin-Woo offered immediately. "Don't be ridiculous. The bed is big enough." Maya unpacked her things, trying to ignore the intimacy of sharing the space with him. "When's the dinner?" 8 o'clock. We're something formal. These are old-money Korean families. Very traditional, very judgmental. The dinner was at an exclusive restaurant. Private room overlooking the ocean. Jin-Woo introduced her to 3 couples, all older, all watching them with calculating eyes. Maya played her part perfectly, the devoted wife, letting Jin-Woo order for her, laughing at his jokes, touching his arm when she spoke. But she noticed Jin-Woo playing his part too, his hand on her lower back, protective. The way he included her in conversation, asked her opinion, the smile he gave her that reached his eyes. It didn't feel like acting. "You two seem very much in love," Mrs. Kim said, the matriarch of one of the families. "Not like these modern marriages. All business, no heart." "We're lucky," Jin-woo said smoothly, taking Maya's hand. "We found both business and heart." His thumb stroked over her knuckles, a gesture so natural it made Maya's breath catch. She looked at him, and for a moment, she forgot they had an audience. His eyes were dark, intense, focused entirely on her. "Excuse us," Mr. Kim said, breaking the spell. "We need to discuss the contract details. Just business talk. Perhaps the ladies would prefer to wait in the lounge." Maya started to stand, but Jin-woo's hand tightened on hers. "My wife stays," he said firmly. "She's not just decorative. She's my partner in all things." The men looked surprised. Maya was surprised. In their world, women were usually excluded from business discussions. "If you insist," Mr. Kim said, clearly uncomfortable. "I do." Jin-woo pulled Maya's chair closer to his. "Continue." They spent an hour discussing distribution routes, profit margins, risk management. Maya listened carefully, occasionally asking questions that Jin-woo answered thoughtfully. By the end, even Mr. Kim looked impressed. "Your wife is sharp," he told Jin-woo. "I know," Jin-woo replied. "I'm lucky to have her." Walking back to the hotel, Jin-woo kept his arm around Maya's waist. The ocean breeze was cool, the boardwalk lit by streetlights and neon signs. "Thank you," Maya said, "for letting me stay, for treating me like a partner." "You are a partner," Jin-woo said. "Whether we chose this or not, we're in it together. I'd rather have you beside me than behind me." They reached their hotel, rode the elevator in comfortable silence. In the room, the tension that had been building all evening finally crystallized. They were alone in a romantic city, playing at being in love. The line between pretend and real felt dangerously thin. "I'll shower first," Maya said, grabbing her things. In the bathroom, she tried to calm her racing heart. This was Jin-woo, her arranged husband, the cold, distant man who'd barely spoken to her for the first month of their marriage. Except he wasn't that man anymore. Or maybe he'd never been that man. Not really. Maybe the coldness was armor, just like hers. When she emerged in her pajamas, Jin-woo was standing by the window, his shirt unbuttoned, his hair slightly messed. He looked younger like this, less controlled, more human. "Your turn," Maya said. He nodded, moving past her toward the bathroom. His scent lingered, expensive cologne mixed with something uniquely him. Maya climbed into bed, her heart still racing. When Jin-woo came out, he wore only pajama pants, his chest bare. Maya tried not to stare at the scars she could see, evidence of a violent life. He caught her looking. "Hazards of the job," he said, sliding into bed beside her. "How many?" Maya asked. "Scars?" "I stopped counting." He turned off the bedside lamp, plunging the room into darkness broken only by moonlight through the windows. "You have them too. I've seen them." Maya touched her shoulder where a bullet had grazed her when she was 17. "My father's training." They lay in the dark, not touching but closer than they'd ever been. The sound of ocean waves drifted through the window. "Maya," Jin-woo said quietly, "can I ask you something?" "Yes." "Are you happy? Here with me?" The question caught her off guard. "I don't know if happy is the right word, but I'm not unhappy anymore." "That's something," Jin-woo said. "More than I expected." "What did you expect?" "To hate you, or for you to hate me. For this to be a prison sentence we both served in silence." He turned to face her, his features barely visible in the darkness. "Instead, you're the best part of my day." Maya's breath caught. "Jin-woo, I know we didn't choose this," he continued. "I know it's complicated, but I need you to know that when I look at you now, I don't see a business arrangement. I see you, and I like what I see." Maya's heart was hammering. She reached out, found his hand in the darkness, laced their fingers together. "I see you, too." They moved together without discussion, his lips finding hers in the moonlight. The kiss was different from their cold, wedding kiss. This was heat and need and months of growing tension finally breaking free. His hand cupped her face, his thumb stroking her cheek. She pulled him closer, her fingers in his hair. "Are you sure?" he whispered against her mouth. "Yes," Maya breathed. "I'm sure." They made love slowly, tenderly, learning each other's bodies in the darkness. It wasn't just physical. It was a bridge between two lonely people, a choice made freely for the first time in their lives. When it was over, Jin-woo held her close, his heartbeat steady against her ear. "Stay," he whispered. "Don't pull away." "I won't," Maya promised. They fell asleep tangled together, the ocean singing outside their window. For the first time since her sister died, Maya felt something like peace. The next morning was soft and golden. They woke slowly, limbs intertwined, sharing sleepy kisses. Jin-woo ordered breakfast in the room. They ate in bed, feeding each other fruit, laughing at nothing. "We have to go back to Seoul today," Jin-woo said, regret in his voice. "I know." Maya traced patterns on his chest. Back to reality. Maybe reality doesn't have to be so bad. He caught her hand, kissed her palm. "Maybe we can make something real out of this arrangement." "I'd like that," Maya whispered. They spent the day exploring Busan, holding hands on the beach, kissing in quiet corners, acting like regular newlyweds. For a few hours, they could pretend their fathers didn't exist, that they weren't criminals by birth, that love was simple. But on the drive back to Seoul, Maya's phone rang. Her father's name flashed on the screen. Her stomach dropped. "Answer it." Jin-woo said, his jaw tightening. "He'll just keep calling." Maya answered, "Hello, father. You've been married 2 months." Chief Okafor said without preamble, "I haven't received a single report. Have you forgotten your job?" Maya's blood went cold. Jin-woo glanced at her, concerned. She forced her voice to stay steady. "I haven't forgotten." "Good. I need to know everything about the Park family's operations in Japan. Everything. Send it to the email I gave you by end of week." "Father, I can't just." "End of week, Maya, or I'll come to Seoul myself, and we'll have a conversation about loyalty." He hung up. Maya stared at the phone, her hands shaking. What did he want? Jin-woo asked. Maya couldn't tell him. Couldn't destroy this fragile thing growing between them. Just checking in, making sure I'm being a good wife. Jin-woo's hand found hers. "You're perfect." The lie sat like acid in Maya's throat. She was a spy, a traitor, and she was falling in love with the man she was supposed to betray. The next few weeks were heaven and hell. Heaven because Maya and Jin-woo were finally, truly together. He came home early from work, bringing her flowers, planning dates. They cooked dinner together, made love slowly in their big bed, fell asleep tangled together. He laughed more, smiled more, the cold mask dropping away to reveal someone warm and funny and kind. Hell because her father called every week demanding information. Maya gave him small things, meaningless details that wouldn't hurt Jin-woo's family. But her father was getting impatient. "You're holding back," he said during one call. "I want real intelligence, financial records, client lists, security details." "I don't have access to those things," Maya lied. "Then get access. You're sleeping with him, aren't you? Use it." Maya felt sick. "I have to go." "End of the month, Maya. Real information or real consequences." She threw her phone across the room after he hung up. It shattered against the wall. Jin-woo found her like that, crying on the bathroom floor, her hands shaking. "Maya, what's wrong?" He dropped to his knees, pulling her into his arms. "Talk to me?" "I can't," she sobbed. "I can't tell you. You can tell me anything." He stroked her hair, his voice gentle. "Whatever it is, we'll fix it together." But they couldn't fix this. If Maya told him she was spying for her father, he'd hate her. If she didn't, her father would hurt them both. She was trapped. "Just hold me," she whispered. "Please." He did, rocking her gently, whispering reassurances in Korean and English. When her tears finally stopped, he carried her bed, curled around her like a shield against the world. "I love you," he said into her hair. "I know we didn't plan this, but I love you, Maya. Whatever's wrong, we'll face it together." "I love you too," she whispered. It was the first time either of them had said it. It felt like both a beginning and an ending. The next day, Maya's cousin Emeka showed up at the penthouse unannounced. Maya hadn't seen him since the wedding. He looked terrible, thin and haunted, like he hadn't slept in weeks. "I need to talk to you," he said, glancing around nervously. "Alone?" They went to a coffee shop nearby. Emeka ordered nothing, just sat across from her, his hands shaking. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. "You look terrible. I needed to tell you something. About Chioma." He wouldn't meet her eyes. "About how she really died." Maya's blood went cold. "What do you mean, how she really died?" "It wasn't a rival gang, Maya. It was Uncle, your father." The words tumbled out like he'd been holding them too long. Chioma found out about the sex trafficking, the children he was moving through his networks. She was going to police. So he killed her, made it look like gang violence. The world tilted. Maya gripped the table, her stomach heaving. "You're lying." "I wish I was." Emeka finally looked at her, tears in his eyes. "I was there. I helped clean up. He made me, and then he used her death to force you into this marriage. You were always the backup plan, Maya. He killed your sister to control you." Maya couldn't breathe. The coffee shop was spinning. Everything her father had said, the urgency of the marriage, the way he'd used her grief to manipulate her. It all made horrible sense. "Why are you telling me this now?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Because he's planning something. Something big. And you're in danger." Emeka leaned forward. "He's going to betray the Park family. Use the information you've been giving him to destroy them and take over their operations. And when he's done, he'll kill you too. You know too much." "I haven't given him anything important," Maya said desperately. "He doesn't care. You were useful. Now you're a liability. Like Chioma." Emeka stood. "I'm leaving the country tonight. I suggest you do the same. Get away from Jinwoo, away from Seoul, away from all of this, before it's too late." He left. Maya sat frozen, her mind racing. Her father had killed Chioma. He was planning to kill her, and he was going to use her to destroy Jinwoo. She went home in a daze. Jinwoo was in his office on a conference call. Maya locked herself in the bathroom and threw up. Then she cried until her eyes were swollen and raw. When she finally emerged, Jinwoo was waiting, concern written all over his face. "Maya, what's going on? You've been gone for hours. You look—" "My father killed my sister," she said, the words erupting like she'd been holding them underwater. "He killed Chioma because she was going to expose him, and he used her death to force me into this marriage. He made me a spy, Jinwoo. He told me to gather intelligence on your family, to betray you." Jinwoo went very still. "What?" "I'm sorry." Maya was crying again, the words pouring out. "I'm so sorry. I gave him small things, nothing important, but he wants more. He's planning to betray you, to destroy your family and take everything. And then he's going to kill me like he killed Chioma." Jinwoo's face had gone cold, the mask slamming back into place. "How long have you been spying on me?" "Since the beginning. Since before the wedding." "But Jinwoo, I swear, I never gave him anything that would hurt you. And I was going to stop. I was going to tell you everything. I just... Get out." Maya's heart broke. "Jinwoo, please. Get out of my sight." His voice was a roar, full of pain and betrayal. Everything was a lie. Everything. You, us, all of it. "No." Maya grabbed his arm. "What we have is real. I love you. That was never a lie." He yanked his arm away. "Your father is planning to destroy my family, and you knew. You helped him. How am I supposed to believe anything you say? Because I'm telling you now, I'm choosing you over him. I'm choosing us." Jinwoo laughed bitterly. "There is no us, Maya. There never was. Just a transaction between two criminal families, and you playing your part perfectly." "That's not true," Maya sobbed. "Isn't it?" His eyes were cold, empty. "You're your father's daughter. I was a fool to forget that." He walked out, slamming the office door behind him. Maya collapsed on the floor, her heart shattering into pieces. She'd lost him, lost everything. She didn't see Jinwoo for 3 days. He slept at the office, avoided the penthouse, didn't answer her calls or texts. Maya existed in a fog of grief and fear, jumping at every sound, expecting her father's men to come for her. On the fourth day, Jin-woo came home. He looked terrible, exhausted and hollow. He found Maya curled up on the couch, surrounded by tissues, her eyes swollen from crying. "We need to talk," he said quietly. Maya sat up, hope and fear warring in her chest. "Okay." He sat across from her, maintaining distance. "I spoke to my father, told him everything you told me." Maya's blood ran cold. "What did he say?" "He wants you gone, wants the marriage annulled, wants you sent back to Lagos." Jin-woo's jaw tightened. "He's mobilizing against your father, preparing for war." "Jin-woo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "I know." He finally looked at her, and the pain in his eyes was devastating. "I believe you love me. I believe you didn't want to hurt me. But you did hurt me, Maya. You lied to me for months. You let me fall in love with you while you were spying on my family." "I know." Maya's voice broke. "I know I did. I was wrong. I was a coward. But please, Jin-woo, please don't send me away. Let me fix this. Let me help you stop my father." "How?" Jin-woo asked. "He's your father. You'd have to." "I'd have to destroy him," Maya finished. "I know, and I will, for Chioma, for us. He's a monster, and he needs to be stopped." Jin-woo studied her for a long moment. "My father will never accept this. If we stay together, we'll be fighting both our families." "Then we fight," Maya said fiercely. "Together. You said we were partners. Prove it." Something flickered in Jin-woo's eyes. "Hope, maybe, or madness. My father wants me to kill you. Prove my loyalty." Maya's breath caught, but she didn't flinch. "Will you?" "No." The word was firm, final. "I won't be my father's executioner. Not anymore." He moved closer, taking her hands. "But if we do this, if we go against both families, there's no going back. We'll be targets. Hunted. We might not survive." "I'd rather die with you than live without you," Maya said. Jin-woo pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. "I love you. Even knowing what you did, I love you. I don't know if that makes me strong or stupid." "Both," Maya said, laughing through her tears. "Definitely both." They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other, preparing for war. When they finally pulled apart, Jin-woo's face was determined. "Here's what we're going to do," he said. "We're going to gather evidence on both our fathers. Every crime, every deal, every body. And we're going to burn them both down." "They'll kill us," Maya said. "Maybe." Jin-woo's smile was sharp, dangerous. "But we'll take them with us." They worked in secret for 2 weeks, stealing files from Jin-woo's father's office, hacking into encrypted servers, recording conversations. Maya used her father's trust against him, asking innocent questions that led to incriminating answers. It was dangerous, exhausting work. They barely slept, constantly looking over their shoulders. Jin-woo's father grew suspicious. He started having them followed, questioning Jin-woo's loyalty. Maya's father called constantly, demanding updates, threatening consequences. "Time's running out," Jin-woo said one night, staring at their evidence. "We have enough to take them down, but we need to act fast." "Then let's do it," Maya said. "Tonight." Jin-woo shook his head. "Not yet. We need insurance. A dead man switch. If they kill us, the evidence goes to every law enforcement agency in the world." They spent the next day setting it up. Encrypted files, timed emails, multiple backups. If either of them didn't check in every 24 hours, everything would be released automatically. Financial records, video evidence, witness testimony. Enough to destroy both families completely. But Maya's brother Chitty discovered what they were doing. He found Maya's laptop open, saw the files, the evidence against their father. He looked at her with such betrayal in his eyes. "Sister, what have you done?" he whispered. "What I should have done years ago," Maya said. "Father is a monster. Chitty, he killed Chioma. He'll kill me too. He'll kill you eventually." He's our family, Chitty said desperately. Our blood. Blood doesn't mean loyalty when it's spilled on innocent victims. Maya shot back. I'm stopping him. With or without your help. Chitty's face crumpled. I'm sorry, Maya. I'm so sorry. He ran. Maya knew immediately what he was going to do. Jinwoo. He's going to warn them. They had minutes. Maybe. Jinwoo grabbed his phone, making calls, alerting his few trusted men. But it was too late. Both their fathers already knew. The call came simultaneously. Chief Okafor and Chairman Park, demanding their children meet them at a neutral location, an abandoned warehouse near the port. Alone. It's a trap, Jinwoo said. Obviously, Maya replied. Are we going? Do we have a choice? They looked at each other. They could run, disappear, trigger the evidence release, and vanish into witness protection. But that would be running for the rest of their lives. Always looking over their shoulders. Never free. I'm tired of running, Maya said. Let's end this. They armed themselves, checked the dead man, switched one last time. If they didn't survive the night, at least their fathers wouldn't either. The warehouse was exactly what Maya expected. Cold, dark, reeking of fish and rust. Both their fathers were there. 50 armed men each, surrounding the space like an arena. Chief Okafor in his expensive suit. Chairman Park in his traditional hanbok. Enemies united by betrayal. Maya and Jinwoo walked in together, hand in hand. Their footsteps echoed on concrete. Every gun was pointed at them. So, Chief Okafor said, his voice booming. My daughter and her husband, both, traitors. We're not traitors, Maya said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. We're survivors. Something you taught me, father. I taught you loyalty, he roared. I taught you to honor your family. You taught me to kill. Maya shot back. You taught me that power matters more than love. That family is just another word for control. She took a step forward. You killed Chioma, your own daughter, because she wanted to be free. Murmurs rippled through the assembled men. Chief Okafor's face darkened. Your sister was weak. She betrayed the family. She was brave, Maya said. Braver than I've been. Until now. Chairman Park spoke, his voice cold and precise. Jinwoo, you have dishonored our family. Married this woman. Fell in love with her. Betrayed every principle I taught you. You taught me to survive, Jinwoo replied. You taught me to be ruthless, to take what I want. I wanted her. I took her. I kept her. You chose her over your blood, Chairman Park said. I chose humanity over monstrosity. Jinwoo's voice was firm. You murdered my mother. Forced me to kill when I was 12 years old. Turned me into a weapon. I'm done being your weapon. Then you're done being my son. Both fathers raised their hands. Guns cocked throughout the warehouse. Maya and Jinwoo pressed close together, back to back. Wait, Maya said loudly. Before you kill us, you should know something. We've spent the last 2 weeks collecting evidence. Every crime, every murder, every dollar of dirty money. Financial records, videos, witness testimony. Everything. Lies, Chief Okafor spat. It's already uploaded. Jinwoo continued. Encrypted. Sent to multiple servers. If we don't check in every 24 hours, it goes to the FBI, Korean NIS, Interpol, every major news outlet. Everything you've built will burn. The warehouse went silent. Both fathers stared at them, calculating, understanding the trap they'd walked into. So here's what happens, Maya said. You let us go. We disappear. You never come after us. And we never trigger the switch. Or, Chairman Park asked, or you kill us, and your empires fall within 48 hours. Every cop you bribed, every politician you own, every rival you crushed, they'll all come for you. You'll spend the rest of your lives in prison or dead. Chief Okafor's laugh was ugly. You think I believe that? You think I won't call your bluff? It's not a bluff, Jinwoo said. Test us. See what happens. For a long moment, no one moved. The tension was suffocating. Then Chief Okafor's face twisted with rage. Kill them. Both of them. I'll deal with the consequences. Father, no. Chitty stepped forward from the crowd of Nigerian men. Please, she's my sister. She's a traitor, Chief Okafor snarled. As are you if you defend her. Chitty looked at Maya, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I told him. I didn't know he'd. It's okay, Maya said gently. I forgive you. How touching, Chairman Park said coldly. He looked at Jinwoo. You have 10 seconds to choose your family, son. Kill her or die with her. Jinwoo pulled Maya closer. I already chose. 6 months ago. I chose her. Then you both die. Chairman Park nodded to his men. Maya closed her eyes, feeling Jinwoo's arms around her. At least they were together. At least they'd die free. She felt his lips on hers. One last kiss, tasting of salt and goodbye. Then gunshots. But not from where she expected. Maya's eyes flew open. Chitty was firing at Chief Okafor's men, screaming in rage and grief. Jinwoo, second in command, a man named Min Jun, was firing at Chairman Park's guards. Chaos erupted. Run! Chitty shouted at Maya. Go! Now! Jinwoo grabbed Maya's hand, pulling her toward the exit. Bullets whizzed past them. Men were screaming, dying, blood pooling on concrete. They ran, Jinwoo returning fire behind them, Maya stumbling over bodies. They burst out into the night, cold air hitting Maya's face like a slap. Jinwoo's motorcycle was there, right where they'd left it. He threw himself on, pulling Maya behind him. The engine roared to life. Behind them, the warehouse exploded. A massive fireball lit up the night sky. Jinwoo gunned the engine, the motorcycle screaming through empty port streets. Maya held on tight, her face buried against his back, her heart hammering. They didn't stop until they reached a safe house on the outskirts of Seoul. An apartment Jinwoo kept for emergencies, paid for under a false name. They stumbled inside, shaking with adrenaline and shock. Your brother, Maya said. Chitty, he saved us. I know. Jinwoo pulled out his phone, checking news feeds. The warehouse is gone. Multiple casualties reported. No confirmation on identities yet. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Sister, father is alive. So is Chairman Park. Injured but alive. They're coming for you. Run. Don't look back. I love you. It was Chitty. Maya showed Jinwoo. He swore in Korean. We triggered the switch, he said. Now. It's the only way to stop them. If we do, we can never go home, Maya said. We'll be fugitives forever. We were already fugitives. Jinwoo cupped her face. Home isn't a place anymore. It's you. Maya kissed him, pouring everything into it. Love and fear and determination. When they broke apart, she nodded. Do it. Jinwoo opened his laptop, entered the codes, press send. Around the world, files began uploading to law enforcement servers. Email inboxes filled with evidence. News outlets received encrypted packages. Within hours, the story would break. Within days, both families would fall. They watched the news together as dawn broke over Seoul. Reports were already coming in. International crime syndicate exposed. Massive evidence dump reveals decades of criminal activity. Photos of Chief Okafor and Chairman Park flashed across screens. Maya's phone rang. Her father. She almost didn't answer, but she needed to hear his voice one last time. You destroyed me, he said, his voice raw with rage. Your own father. You destroyed yourself, Maya replied. You killed your daughter. You would have killed me. You're a monster, and the world deserves to know it. I'll find you, he promised, however long it takes. I'll find you and make you pay. Try, Maya said. We'll be ready. She hung up. Jinwoo was already packing bags, gathering cash and fake passports he prepared weeks ago. They had maybe hours before authorities came looking for them too. They were witnesses, valuable ones, but also accessories to their father's crimes. Where do we go? Maya asked. Anywhere. Jinwoo zipped up the bags. Everywhere. We disappear completely. Start over. Together? Always together. They left Seoul as the sun rose. Just two people on a motorcycle heading for the coast. They caught a ferry to Jeju Island. Then a private plane to Taiwan paid for in cash. From there, they island hopped through Southeast Asia, changing identities, always moving, never staying more than a few days. News followed them. Chief Okafor arrested. Chairman Park in custody. Dozens of associates taken down. Assets frozen. Empires crumbling. It was everything they'd wanted, but it came at a cost. 3 months later, they reached a small island in the Seychelles. White sand beaches, turquoise water, palm trees swaying in warm wind. They rented a tiny house under false names, paid in cash. It wasn't a luxury penthouse in Seoul, but it was theirs. It was safe. It was free. Maya stood on the beach at sunset, watching the waves. She felt Jinwoo's arms wrap around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "Any regrets?" he asked softly. Maya thought about everything they'd lost. Their families, their countries, their identities. But she also thought about what they'd gained. Freedom, love, each other. A chance to be something other than what their fathers made them. "Only that I didn't fall for you sooner," she said, echoing his words from months ago. Jinwoo turned her around, his hands on her waist. "We have time now. All the time in the world. What do we do with it?" "Live," he said simply. "Really live, not as weapons or tools or criminals. Just as Maya and Jinwoo, two people who chose each other." Maya smiled, tears in her eyes. "I like the sound of that." He kissed her as the sun sank below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Behind them, their little house waited, simple and imperfect and perfect. In front of them, the ocean stretched endlessly, full of possibility. They'd been forced together by violence and greed, but they'd chosen to stay together through love and courage. And that choice, that one free choice in lives controlled by others, made all the difference. 6 months later, Maya stood in that same spot, her hand on her swollen belly. Jinwoo was inside, attempting to cook dinner and probably burning it. She could hear him cursing in Korean, and it made her smile. They'd built a life here, small and quiet and safe. Jinwoo played piano at a local bar sometimes. Maya sold her paintings at the weekend market. They were nobody special. It was wonderful. Her phone buzzed. A message from Adana, the only person from her old life she stayed in contact with. "Your father was sentenced today. Life in prison. No parole. It's really over." Maya breathed out slowly. It was over. The monster who'd killed Chioma, who'd tried to kill her, was caged. Justice, finally. She felt Jinwoo's arms around her, his hand covering hers on her belly. Their daughter kicked, strong and healthy. They were going to name her Chioma, after the sister who'd been brave enough to try to escape, who'd paid for that bravery with her life, but had shown Maya the way. "What are you thinking?" Jinwoo asked. "That we made it," Maya said. "Against everything, we made it." "We did more than make it," Jinwoo said. "We won." And they had. Not by becoming more ruthless than their fathers, not by seizing power or building empires. They'd won by walking away, by choosing love over loyalty, freedom over family, humanity over heritage. The sun was setting again, another perfect day ending on their perfect little island. Maya turned in Jinwoo's arms, kissing him softly. Inside her, their daughter kicked again, eager to be born into this new life they'd built. A life without violence, without fear, without the weight of criminal legacies. "I love you," Maya said. "I love you too," Jinwoo replied. "Always." They stood together on the beach, watching the sun sink into the ocean, two souls who'd been forged in darkness but had found their way to light. The forced marriage that was supposed to be a prison had become their salvation. The stranger who was meant to be her enemy had become her everything. And as the stars began to emerge in the darkening sky, Maya thought about the question Jinwoo had asked her all those months ago. "Are you happy?" "Yes," she thought. Finally and possibly completely. Yes. If you enjoyed this story of love conquering violence, of two people choosing each other against impossible odds, please hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating stories. Drop a comment below telling me what you thought about Maya and Jinwoo's journey, and what kind of story you'd like to see next. Thank you for watching until the end. Your support means everything. Until next time, remember that sometimes the greatest act of rebellion is simply choosing to love.